Welcome to Legally Speaking with Attorney Antoinette Osborne. This program is for information purposes only. If you need legal advice, you can contact me, Antoinette Osborne, at 718-502-9137. That's 718-502-9137. The office focuses on divorce, immigration, bankruptcy, real estate, and estate matters. We also do eviction proceedings. There is a second office in Jamaica, West Indies, that focuses on legal representation if you are buying or selling property in Jamaica, or if you are looking to wrap up an estate. Last week, one of the callers asked me to just review the Florida statute, as most of us have a family in Florida, and the new statute signed by Governor DeSantis, it is going to affect relatives, friends, business associates in Florida tremendously. It's a serious statute, and we all know that Florida is a red state. Most southern states, if not all, are red states. And if Florida has adopted this method, my next fear is Texas, because Texas is usually the leader in anti-immigration reform. So for those of you who have family in Florida, I'm putting you on notice. A lot of them may be calling and requesting that they come to relocate to where you are if you are in a northern state, or a state that's just not so hostile to illegal immigrants. All right, so let's kind of go through this. And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Legally Speaking with Attorney Antoinette Osborne. Number to call in if you have a question, it's 718-502-9137. You can also text your question this morning to 718-502-9137. And to make an appointment during the week, it is the same number to call, which is 718-502-9137. All right, so this morning we are going to be focusing on Florida, yeah? And we are specifically looking at the new changes that have been imposed, and DeSantis signed this on May 10th, and it is coming into effect on July 1st, 2023. So that means this year, in a matter of a few more weeks, this is going to come into effect. So we're looking at possibly now 5 more weeks. So when you hear me speaking this morning, this is in regards to Florida. Please do not call me and ask if this is in regards to New York. Please do not annoy me with that. We are focusing on Florida. You are on the air. All right. I'm not even going to ask you to turn off the radio. All right. So let's take a look. They are, and when they mean the crime of human smuggling, this involves us transporting someone in your car who does not have a status. So if you are driving around someone who is illegal, caller, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Buckner.
Okay. Do not discuss your case on the air, Mr. Buckner.
We're not discussing no case, Miss Anthony. We're not discussing any case. It's a question may I ask you.
Sure.
Okay? All right. If USCIS, right? Send you a letter stating that they need, some things from the DA, and you send it go get them. What will be the outcome after that? That's my question to you.
Okay, so if it's...
I'm saying go get them what they ask for. Mail it to them.
Okay. I have to disconnect my client. Why? I specifically stated do not discuss his case. All right, so we'll move on that. All right, so if it is that you are taking someone in your car, and this is Florida. I can't emphasize this enough. This is Florida. If you take someone who is illegal in your car, you are now going to be looked at as transporting, right? And transporting, you're engaging in, they've widened the definition of human smuggling, right? So here it is, your relatives are there, and they may have legal status, but a family member or friend does not have legal status. And they're just dropping them off to work, probably carrying them to church, taking them to pick up their child at the babysitter. Yeah? That's now an offense, and it's a felony in the 3rd degree. If they're transporting a child who is a minor, that is a felony in the 2nd degree. So here it is, your relatives, even your relatives who have legal status is at risk of getting a criminal charge, and if the facts are proven, a conviction where they had no criminal record before. But just by transporting, yeah? And they're looking at transporting 5 or more people at once, and for each person, you're charged separately. This is serious. And your relatives or friends or loved ones in Florida have to be careful now. And for relatives who do not have legal status, some people will get up in their feelings. They'll feel offended because they can't understand why is it that you can't carry them in your vehicle. But at the same time, especially for people who have never had an encounter with law enforcement, they have never been arrested. This doesn't bode well. It does not bode well. And when this takes effect July 1st, 2023, unless there's going to be a legal challenge to it, your relatives, whether they're legal or illegal, are at risk, because the legal relatives are at risk because they have the possibility of facing arrest because they're helping out another friend, possibly a co-worker, possibly a relative. And I'll tell you this is going to cause a lot of division in families. So we're focusing this morning on Florida. And this is in response to the caller from last week who asked if we could just look at this. And I told him that we'll do this morning. So when you hear me speaking this morning, it is in regards to Florida. No other state but Florida. Another dangerous aspect to this is that it adds human smuggling to the list of offenses that can be prosecuted under the RICO Act. That is not a statute nobody wants to get prosecuted under. The penalties are extremely severe. So just by transporting relatives, friends, co-workers, anybody who don't have status, you're at risk. Employers who have 25 or more employees, yeah, you're required to use the E-Verify system. But I'll tell you this, oftentimes employers who are taking on people who do not have status, they not have 25 or more employees. It's usually the smaller employer. What you'll find is if you see a company with 25 or more employees, more often than not, they are already using E-Verify. But they're requiring private employers with 25 or more employees to use the federal E-Verify system. And if when they try to verify that individual, the system is down or it's not available for 3 days, you have to screenshot this. So just in case you get audited, you have the ability to prove that you attempted and the system was not working. If not, there are consequences. And if the E-Verify system is not working, you are required to use the actual physical I-9 form. And I'm going to encourage everyone who is filling out this form and they don't have paperwork, do not check that you are a U.S. citizen. After September 30th, 1996, this permanently blocks you from acquiring a green card and ultimately citizenship, as it falls under the bandwagon of a false claim to U.S. citizenship. So for those of you who don't have papers and you're looking at a job, I don't care that your friends will tell you, oh, just use your ID. And if you, because some people do have socials, they came as F1 students that got the social security, came as a H2B worker, O1Ps, any sort of work permit, you get a social security. Do not let your friends and family members convince you to check off that you are a U.S. citizen. I have seen immigration go, because they, regardless of what you tell them, they run you separately. And for people who have legitimate social security numbers, your history pops up. So they know where you have worked. It doesn't make sense you have this form and you're going to lie. And I find some offices, some district offices are aggressive in their investigation. And they will go to your old job and they will pull that I-9. And once you have checked citizen, and this is being done after September 30th, 1996, you just burn up any chance of getting a green card. So this is just to encourage everyone anywhere in the United States, not just Florida, do not check that I-9 form or go put in the and I think someone would be really mad, fam, to put in the E-Verify system that is a direct link to immigration, that they are a citizen and they are not. Yeah, you'd have to be drinking mad post-piss to do this. So just tuning in, you're listening to Legally Speaking with attorney Antoinette Osborne. This morning we're focusing on just reviewing and providing the listeners with what's going on in Florida, because a lot of us, as I know Jamaicans, if you from Jamaica, you know have somebody in Florida, I'm shocked. Florida for us is like an extension of Kingston. It's like Kingston 21. There are so many Jamaicans in Florida, in New York, in California, and now Atlanta. Yeah? So this is what's taking place in Florida. So you can aware what your family members are facing. And I'm telling you, if you get a call and they're asking to come and stay by you, do not be surprised. Do not. It's serious business going on in Florida. Yeah? So for employers who are hiring people without papers in Florida, we already know that the federal government had their own fines, which it's not cheap. Yeah? But Florida is even creating their own fines. Immigration is a federal issue. But Florida is sick and tired of the recent wave of border entrance, and they are lashing out. Yeah? Now, in desperation, and it's as simple as this, it is desperation. In desperation in seeking employment, sometimes you may have a friend who puts you onto a link that provides false documentation to work. I will tell you, if you do this in Florida now and you get caught, it is now a third-degree felony. So some people get the fake work permit. I would hope nobody takes a U.S. passport. They get a fake work permit. They get the fake green card. Yeah? You're going to use any sort of false identification, or you use someone else's paper. That person's papers are legitimate, and you use that person's paper. You have now committed a third-degree felony. So if you get caught, and I'll tell you this, you have to think of the future. Is it worth it? You have to think of, in the future, you want to apply. Because the ultimate aim, if you're in the United States and you don't have papers and you do not have an aim of trying to get lawful status, then you're wasting your time here. Unless you know, say you're just hustling to set a foundation. You have people here for years. And I'll tell you this, what has happened to a lot of people is that they came here, and I tell you, in the 80s and the 90s that was when you had the drug pandemic. Crack, cocaine, weed, everything. Yeah? Meth, all these drugs, out of control. And the statutes were harsh. And you have people just visiting family members who hustling, they don't know. The house get raided, or they're asked to carry a package, or they're at their home. And I'm telling you this, immigrants, if you are not expecting a package, or you do not know the sender of the package, do not accept it. And some of you are visiting, you not live there. Who authorized you for sign for package? All of a sudden you have this big drug charge. And if your own family members, some of you are taking charges for family and friends. Yeah, I've had clients that take charges for their boyfriend. Are you mad, fam? Take charge who? Make your mama go take that charge. And young girls, I remember I had this nice young girl in my office. So, you're just generally asking, have you ever been arrested? And she said, yes. When this girl go over a rap sheet, you see this girl on the street, you'd never think, and that's why you can't judge a book. There with this waste man, yeah? And I take charge to the boy. And the relationship never ever work out, eh? Me I gotta take charge to you, sir. I mean, I have no guarantee. You're not Christ to come clean up my life. Me I take charge to you, sir. Mm-mm. Them that love them, I want encounter. And young girls be very careful of the waist man, the big foot cranky toenail one cut, foot bottom one scrub boy one take up on a life. To go on a charge, but to in love. Me no want experience them love there. He's a practical person. Me no want encounter it. Yeah? But what saved this nice clean girl, cause look she look for somebody. Her mother became a citizen before her 18th birthday. So when all these charges came and immigration came to her, can't touch her. Automatic citizen. Watch how now mixing herself with some people. Yeah? Certain kind of love. Just tuning in. You're listening to Legally Speaking with attorney Antoinette Osborne this morning. I am specifically dealing with Florida, and I am looking at the new changes, that are coming into effect on July 1st, 2023 as a result of Governor DeSantis, signing SB, I think it's called SB 1718. And this is not a game. For your people who are in Florida, it's going to get very serious for them if they have no legal status or if they are in a mixed household or their friends do not have status and they're quote-unquote helping them out. So not even, Lord, even you go at church and they stop you. No, sir. Now, there's nothing like church to have illegal aliens, honey. Yeah. Now, every employer has to verify, which is also required everywhere, but Florida requires the employers to verify the employee's employment eligibility within 3 days after the employee starts the job. Yeah? Now, it prohibits employers from continuing to employ an individual who is not authorized to work in Florida. Yeah? Now, if it is that the employer goes ahead and takes on an illegal alien, then the Department of Economic Opportunity must determine and make an order requiring that employer to repay, what is referred to as an economic development incentive. And knowing the South, me never want to see that the figure there. It's serious. Yeah? For anybody who is dealing with the state of Florida as a contractor or subcontractor, they must use E-Verify once they get a government contract. They're not playing. Yeah? Now, and just tuning in, keep repeating this, we are focusing on Florida. Yeah? We're focusing on Florida this morning with the SB 1718 that DeSantis signed on May 10th, 2023, and it comes into effect July 1st, 2023. The reason I'm even looking at this is because as island people, a lot of us have relatives in Florida, especially when people couldn't fly out of the country, them go look for them relative in Florida. Them probably want a break from New York. This is a tough state to be in. And I don't think anyone has experienced the real stress unless you come live here for some time. This is not an easy place to live in. Yeah? Now, for those of you who got license in New York and you've gone down to Florida, it is not a license where you have legal status. Yeah? They're going to invalidate them. So you're driving on the road, police stop you, the license is no longer valid. Them not care in New York issued that license lawfully. The fact that you are an illegal alien and you got this license, Florida is just going to invalidate it, and you're going to get a citation. More than likely, it's going to be driving without a license. That's where we're at. Just tuning in, you're listening to Legally Speaking with attorney Antoinette Osborne. If you have a question this morning, you can call in at 718-502-9137 to make an appointment during the week. It is 718-502-9137. Or you can text your question to 718-502-9137. Yeah. Me personally, I've never liked Florida. I've always hated going there. I have friends who I grew up with, and that's the only time that I do go to Florida. But personally, it's not a place I like to go. All right. Now, statute requires hospitals that accept Medicaid, because they get government funding now. So they're required to collect patient information pertaining to immigration status. So what all the hospitals have to do now, who get Medicaid, if their forms did not include it, their admission or registration forms, they have to revise it once they benefit from Medicaid. Monies, yeah? So they have to you have to report whether the person has lawful status. So on that questionnaire now, you're going to see whether you have to check off whether you are a U.S. citizen, whether you have lawful status, or whether you are illegal. Yes, I reach now with Florida. And I'm encouraging you, tell your friends and relatives, do not check off they are a U.S. citizen, because guess what? Guess what is going to happen with in Florida now? This is an easy check when they're ultimately going, yeah, for their green card to see whether I ever made false claims to U.S. citizenship. And that's the reality of it. An officer, a very diligent officer, if he wants to check, he just goes. You've been to the hospital? Yeah, man. And when you've been to the hospital, because sometimes they don't approve you right away because they have their checks to do. Yeah? Usually, the majority of the checks is just a background check. They have to run your fingerprint. The system don't know. If you're in that interview and the officer smells a rat and he's not comfortable with you, yeah, you get your usual notice you've been here, give them up to 90 or 120 days to make a decision. Some officers are investigating you. And I'll tell you this, in Florida, one of their checks may be they're going to that hospital to look at your form. It's a possibility, because that's an easy way to determine if you ever checked off that you are a U.S. citizen. Yeah? So the registration forms for hospitals that take Medicaid, they have to change the questionnaire. Yeah? And I'm encouraging you to tell your relatives, do not check off that they are a U.S. citizen. The hospitals are now going to be forced to send over data as to the cost of care that was involved in treating illegal aliens in the United States. Right? And they're going to assess, they want to know the impact of the cost of care on the hospital's ability to provide service. Because if the hospitals are constantly treating people who are not able, anybody who has been to a hospital, even just the ER, that bill not cheap. You can get sick just from looking at that hospital bill. Let's get real. You can get ill just from looking at that hospital bill. This is not a game. And I can tell you that they are now going to be looking in, and this is Florida. This is specific to Florida because I'm focusing on Florida this morning and the new statute. Just giving my little commentary of what's going on in Florida and how serious it's going to be for your friends, relatives, associates who are in Florida and who don't have legal status, or they're associating with people who do not have legal status. Now, for young prospective attorneys who don't have lawful status, they're no longer going to be able to get a law license if they are illegal. Yeah? And any law license that's issued after November 1st, 2028 is going to be invalidated. Yeah? So, one of the more serious aspects to this, and just tuning in, you're listening to Legally Speaking with Attorney Antoinette Osborne. Number to call in if you have a question, it is 718-502-9137. You can also text your question to 718-502-9137, or to make an appointment during the week, same number, 718-502-9137. Now, usually sometimes you get arrested, there's an ICE detainer. Florida is cooperating fully with ICE in sending over your information and holding you on that detainer. Yeah? And the new statute authorizes the Florida Department of Law Enforcement to assist federal immigration officials as it relates to terrorism and immigration enforcement issues, whether or not it affect or it don't affect Florida. I tell you, these southern states, them serious. Yeah? Now, one of the more serious aspects to this is the local governments now cannot provide monies to organizations that issue ID cards. Yeah? So, whether it's an ID card for a job, whether it's an ID card for recreational sort of things. Once you don't have status, it's not happening. Yeah? So, and one of the more serious aspects to this, because once they take your DNA, that's it. Anyone in Florida who is in the custody of law enforcement, who is subject to an immigration detainer, they have to submit a DNA. Yeah? So, that's the take this morning on what in tarnations is happening with Florida and this new SB 1718. All right, so I received some text messages and I am going to go over them. So someone texted, good morning. My son got his green card this month. He wants to come up in June and go back home in August. Can he do that? All right, so when you get your green card, that's your proof of your lawful authorization to live and work in the United States and your proof of traveling. If he travels back to Jamaica, make sure he's not out of the country for more than 6 months. So, someone says, does the Florida law apply to taking public transportation? It should, but I'm sure they're going to do some exemption for these public workers because it's not like they know them. Yeah? All right, so someone says, if someone lost their passport and you have a ticket to go to Canada, how can they replace the passport? They have to go to the passport agency And you can apply for an emergency passport. Just show proof of your travel date, and they usually process you. All right, so someone texted, good morning. I need to file for my U.S. citizenship, but I lost my green card. Can I still file without the green card, or do I need to replace it first? You do not have to have the green card if you've lost it and you're applying for citizenship. The only problem is if you need to travel, you're going to have an issue. If, let's say, there's an emergency outside the country, you have to show that you actually have a replacement application in process for them to stamp your passport. All right. We got another text message. Good morning, Miss Osborne. My ex-husband passed a year ago. We owned a house, but at the time of purchasing the house, I was out of work due to an injury on my job, so I was not able to go on the deed. So it's my son and my deceased husband who is on the deed. How can I get my name on the deed? I'll tell you this. If your son and your husband held as joint tenants with the right of survivorship, you are getting nothing. If they held as tenants in common, then, and your husband, if he left a will, then his 50% share would go by the terms of the will. If he didn't leave a will, then his 50% goes by the rules of intestacy, and you get 50% and the child get the other 50%. That could leave your son with 75% ownership of the house, yeah? And this is why when it comes to deeds, you have to rectify these things. It is so important to rectify deeds during the lifetime. And I find wives are so complacent in their marriages. A thing like a deed where if you have the wrong child, you could go through hell, yeah? Or let's say that the person's name alone was on the deed and they died, and you have to deal with possibly outside children who don't like you, and now they have an ownership interest. You have to protect the roof over your head, and I find people aren't vigilant in that, yeah? And island people sometimes we're too lax, we're too trusting, yeah? We don't let things like your shelter is important. Don't play with the roof over your head, yeah? All right, so someone texted, only one solution to the problem, get out of Florida ASAP. I'll tell you this, you have a lot of people leaving Florida. And what's suffering mainly are like the farms. A lot of the farmers are suffering. Nobody's reporting to work. Their crops are spoiling, or they've lost half of their labor force. You know how that affects Uno here in New York. When demand is greater than supply, because the farmer them, yeah, now have the ability to meet the supply. Price going rise pan on the backside. It's simply economics. So now get ready for that. Okay, someone texted, most of these drug mule is greedy. I'll tell you this, I don't judge people. And I'll tell you why. Some people are faced with some situation. Easy to judge when you're not in a man's shoes. But some people have some desperate situations going on in their family, where they need money, whether it's for illness or whatever. And a man approach them, giving them what is referred to as the easy way out. It appears easy. Yeah? Just swallow this. By the time you reach England or America, you pass it out. Yeah? Them comfy it. Yeah. But nobody never tell you that in the event this gets discovered, the sentence you are going to face. Yeah, man. Everything look easy till you get catch. Young people, Because you're the most young minds, younger generation, you are the most impressionable. You know, go through no hardship, no cock up in a no mama house, yeah? And you not live free. So you don't know what it is to go out there, hustle, sweat, and build. A lot of you don't have it easy. So when hard life take on you can't manage, it's like the end of the world. You don't know what it is to struggle. And you like things easy, yeah? But I'll tell you this, anything that's coming too easy or it's free, those are the things you pay a higher cost with. Just tuning in, we are running towards the end of the show. You've been listening to Legally Speaking with attorney Antoinette Osborne. To make an appointment during the week, telephone number is 718-502-9137. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mrs. Osborne.
Good morning, darling.
Can I file for my stepkids? They're over 18 years old.
If you got married before their 18th birthday, you can. If you got married after their 18th birthday, you cannot.
Okay, I cannot file for them.
Only if you got married after their 18th birthday. Who is this, your wife?
Yes. Good
Hi,
morning.
darling. Good morning. I would hope it's your wife. Mm-hmm. Yes, darling. How can I help you this morning?
Yeah, so I'm not a citizen yet. I'm going to file next month, June.
Mm-hmm.
So can I go ahead and put in the filing for them?
You're looking to file for your biological kids?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Okay.
All right. Okay, my love.
And if I transfer to Arizona, because I'm planning to move,
Mm-hmm.
so if I transfer to there, it's going to take less time?
No. Who told you that nonsense? No. All right.
That's what I heard. It's take less time. Okay.
Possibly if the district office has a lesser load, if the district office has a lesser load, then it will take a less time in the first phase, but not in the second stage where you're going to the Kingston Embassy. All right?
Okay.
Okay, darling. Right. All right. So let's take a look at this text message. Good morning, Miss Osborne. This is my question. My cousin's daughter had a baby in North Carolina 17 years ago. She took the baby to Jamaica since birth. All she has is the birth certificate. Now she wants the child to return to the USA. They want the social security card. She has none. What does she do to get a passport? She goes to the embassy with her birth certificate, and I would take other IDs that she got issued in whichever Jamaica, whichever country that shows that she's who she is throughout the years. The embassy will process her and issue the passport. All right, so let's go. Good morning, Miss Antoinette. I have two questions. My father filed for my brother. All paperwork was in as of July 22nd. We received notice that all we are doing is waiting on the interview date from Jamaica Embassy. How long will the interview date take? It's almost a year. This case, we hired a lawyer. I'll tell you this, the embassy in Kingston is their own beast, and them give you the date when they feel like it. They have not forgotten you. I can't give you a timeline for them. Them just process you whenever them feel like for process you when they think that they have dates available for interviews. The second question, filed for my mom. All documents were in since April 2023. Waiting on an interview date. Do you know how far out is the date for parent filing? Your mom, if you're a U.S. citizen, and you have to be to file for your parent, she's an immediate relative. And I'll tell you, these days in processing times, I do not give exact dates. It can take anywhere from 6 months going on to 2 years. I think immigration themselves give themselves possibly 3 years to process these cases. So, someone texted, hi, Miss Osborne, good morning. Do you think this will really happen? And what if you are driving someone and you don't know, would you still get in trouble? Yeah, it's really happening. The governor signed the law on May 10th, and it is coming into effect on July 1st. So unless there is a challenge to the statute, this is the law. There are no two ways about it, you know? Yeah, I think for the employers, they have a knowingly qualification that you knowingly hired somebody illegal, or you probably didn't exercise due diligence to find out. But in terms of the wording for transporting people, I didn't say the word knowingly. Yeah, sad. All right, I have to disconnect. I'm hearing the radio. Once you hear me answer, I'm sorry. We don't have that much time. This is a 1-hour program. I am not Jesus Christ to extend the time. I can't make time longer. All right. So, hi, Ter texted and said they x-ray the body at some airports if they suspect drugs were ingested. Yeah, man, it's serious, man. It's serious. Caller, you're on the air.
Yes, good morning. I'm calling concerning that message I sent you. Is the passport office open?
I believe it is.
We can just walk in there and get the passport because she lost her passport.
For emergency passport, I think you have to go to Manhattan. Try and get an appointment at the Manhattan office because they deal with that. They'll deal with
but they don't want to give out no, they're not giving out no appointment. And she'll miss her plane. I know she's got to go see her mother in Canada. And she have another ticket to that one. I know she wants to know if she could get it as an emergency.
That's strange because Manhattan has always been the emergency office for the passport. I'm shocked that they are not giving out. Call and try. Go to the post office and let them give you some guidance. All right?
Okay.
All right, darling. Bye. All right, and I'm going to encourage everyone, make sure, you never know when you have to make a move, and I'm going to encourage everybody to watch the expiration dates in your passport. Mr. Virgin, I'm Sir Antoinette. Me not tell you no lie, one thing me always make sure ready on my passport, because me never know when me have to run. Yeah? True. All right, so let's get to this next text message. Good morning. If someone is being filed for by an employer in Florida, how does this new law affect the immigrant? Well, if the employer is not working or is not taking you on to work, they're just filing, then that's fine. You know? The employer is not prohibited from filing for them. Caller, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Yes, I heard you. I'm on the radio. I heard you on the radio. Have a house, and is my name alone on it. My wife passed, and it's just my name alone on it. And I have one son with her and 4 children differently from her.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to put some of their name on here. How can I go about that? On the deed.
You can always add people to your deed, but my recommendation is, I'm sorry, I don't trust children. Keep a life estate for yourself that you still maintain control during your life. But yes, you can add them to your deed. All right?
Okay.
And if you need assistance, you can contact the office. All right, darling.
Yes, I will.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Call me when I get to a new wife and a new husband and I pick up greedy people and I listen to an appearance that this is not the person for you and I just get conned. Because sometimes you don't know the wolf in a sheep clothing. Yeah. So it is what it is. I don't like adding children to deed, especially if the child is irresponsible and gets a lot of judgments against them. Yeah. So it is what it is. Yeah. Someone says, good morning. Thank you. I got my green card yesterday. Thank you for everything. God bless you. Oh, my goodness. I'm so happy for you. All right. Sorry, that was one of my clients. Caller, you're on the air.
If Antoinette, I'm about again, you know.
I'm not going to take this call, sir. I don't want my clients calling and discussing their case. And I specifically requested you not to. No. Not on air. I have an office. And that's what that's for. Yeah, because you come and you discuss your case and you identify yourself. I'm not going to do that. All right. So we are at the end of the program. We have 6 more minutes left. You've been listening to Legally Speaking with attorney Antoinette Osborne. This morning, we specifically focused on Florida. And we just reviewed the statute that's signed by DeSantis on May 10th, and that's coming into effect on July 1st, 2023. So if you have your friends there, your family there, if you see them calling you because they want to move in, it's going to happen. Because a lot of immigrants now are leaving Florida. Who in tarnation wants a felony in the 3rd degree? Or my God, the person you're transporting is a child who don't have papers. They move that to a felony in the 2nd degree. Who wants those charges? Yeah? This is so serious for residents of Florida, whether you're legal or you're illegal. Because either way, if you interact with people who do not have status, you're at risk. You have spouses where they have to interact because the other person who don't have legal status is a spouse. And they probably can't get legal status because years ago, I tell you, you see in the 80s and the 90s, it was a hard drug period. Crack, cocaine, meth. Sometimes you're there with a little man and you swear this man is the best man for you, but a crosses. And that same man make you get a drug charge. Young girls, watch yourself. Watch yourself. I've had clients where the father-in-law used to run the street, and father-in-law, they are prison now, and I call the son, and I call the son-in-law. So you done for your life, because you lock up for years. And you basically buy yourself a one-way ticket. I'm telling you, when I look for Upper St. Andrew, enough of the time fund by blood money. And your daughter thinks she tighty, yeah? But a drug money and fund she. And now your son-in-law with him nice, good, clean record, you call him for a run package after the boy no idiot. Eh? Oh, you don't set the foundation under the example where you learn. Make we get real now. Because some people don't miss a girl like look into things. You set the foundation where you learn in life. Yeah. And instead of trying to now create a path so the future generation can move a certain way so them not have to end up where you end up. Let's get real. You try to pull this youth with a nice, good, clean government job in a nastiness, you idiot. After the boy in a fool. Young people watch out and make people mess with a legitimate money. Yeah? Because they want to get you in their illegal activities. What are you using for role models? It don't make sense. We're at the end of the program. You've been listening to Legally Speaking with attorney Antoinette Osborne. Telephone number to make an appointment is 718-502-9137. That's 718-502-9137. Have a blessed Sunday. Live good with your neighbor. Yeah? Stop the bad mind thing. Try to express your own life. Live good with people. I can't encourage this enough. Spend time with your family, because I find a lot of you. I think some people are spending more time styling their spouse instead of building on their own family values. Mind what and watch what you're doing with your household. Is a dangerous place where people forget family values. The nuclear families is on its way out. But try and keep good, wholesome family values. Number to call during the week is 718-502-9137. That's 718-502-9137. Stay safe and enjoy your Memorial Day weekend.